come up in my section, drink my liquor,
Talk to him.
stunt for the brand.
Talk about it.
Stunt for the brand.
Talk about
Got the
it.
bottles coming out, courtesy of the CMB boys,
Talk about
confetti
it.
money boys bottles coming out.
Keep going.
You toasting it,
Keep
you
going.
posting it, all of that.
But don't wild out to the point that you let a motherfucker bag you and scoop you up and dip you in some motherfucking milk. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? You know what it is. Your favorite podcast. Favorite podcast. CMB Red Cup Talk. Back with another episode. It's your boy Dayon Block.
Yo, this your boy, Train Like a God Fame. Well,
Yeah, that's your boy Chase.
And we got two guests with us today, man. We got two gentlemen here with us to the right of me. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Johnny Walker, the multi-family monster. Happy to be here, guys.
And to the left of me.
Yo, what's good? It's Faha. I just buy real estate.
Yes. So episode 11, 12. I don't even know. I'm losing count now.
what is it, Mark 12? I think it's 12.
Yeah, 12. Yeah, everybody losing count. But we out here. This is episode 12. And we got a dope episode for y'all today. Basically, we're going to dive right in and discuss, basically some real estate, some investments. Basically, give y'all a little background on, not background, but a little knowledge, everybody that's looking into trying to dive into some investments. Basically, we starting the year off. It's January. It's tax return season.
Tax return. What you gonna do with the money?
Be smart. Be smart.
You wanna buy a BMW?
Big opportunities coming, man. Big opportunities.
Yeah, you got your stimulus. Some of you guys, got kids. Everybody get.
At all. Fuck that.
Either.
I'm mad.
I'm mad too.
Look,
I ain't get mine either.
Fine.
Faha. Yeah. So you can't hear your mic.
You're talking to the mic.
You hear me now?
I can hear him.
Yeah, I
Turn
can.
these headphones down. You can turn these down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We good? We good?
Nah.
Testing.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Go ahead.
Testing.
Yeah. So well, you said you ain't get your stimulus.
I ain't give
I
shit.
ain't get
That's
mine
you see.
either.
That's the benefit. That's the benefit. You got to get married.
What that do?
Huh?
What that do for you?
Well, you see, some of you guys make too much. My wife don't work like that.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
know what I mean? I still, if it
So
was
it
just me,
balance it out?
yeah, if it was just me,
But y'all
I would have
filed
been asked out.
Y'all filed jointly?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it kind of worked out in our favor. Plus,
Shit
you got
pissed me
kids.
Okay.
You get an extra,
Okay.
extra for the kids. And all that.
Extra?
That's,
How much? Extra 5 or 4?
they get the same amount.
Wait, who do
every
your taxes
kid.
though?
Boy,
Huh?
Who do your taxes?
Just late.
Don't tell him.
No. Yo, I promise you, I ask everybody.
Yeah, like the person I sent you to before.
I promise you.
Got it.
Yeah,
I tell everybody, I got a tax lady out of this world.
Yeah.
Well,
I guarantee you. Nah, matter. We gonna talk off
yeah.
camera.
I
I'm gonna tell you.
I need to see her because he said the same thing to me.
Hey,
I
look,
look,
bro.
to the state.
Yo, I'm telling you, I done sent to longshoreman. He make my man make 800.
Yeah.
My other man, he's a heart surgeon.
Yeah.
He make $1 million.
Yeah.
He owed the state every year $50,000. She cleaned his shit up.
Yeah, well, that's where I need to go because I be
Hey,
owing.
look, man. Once you go to her and she take care, you just send me $100.
Hey, reference fee.
Look, I'm telling you, you going. Everybody sent to her and send me a couple dollars.
Well, my lady used to give me about 10 G.
Oh,
but
there you go.
Now it's not that.
Yeah, you see,
last year was like 65. Oh,
You say
up to the
you
10.
say y'all walk through the back alley and go through the side door?
No.
I was cracking a joke. I was messing with her. But I went over there. I was like, yo, Will sent me.
If I go to her and I get less than what I got last, I'll be in there talking dirty to her like, yo, this year I need 13. Next year I need 20.
Yeah. That's
She be
shit.
like, yo,
I be
we
happy
gonna
with
have to play with these numbers a little bit,
Yeah.
but she get it done.
I need that. I'm
I done
definitely
sent
gonna
her
hit you
at
up.
least 100 people, at least.
I'm definitely gonna hit you
We're
up.
gonna talk off here.
I got to collect some receipts.
Look,
Wife, you gotta go in that
yo,
receipts.
she's so dope. She'll go back a couple years and get you any money that you missed.
Right. Oh, nice.
I need that because
But-
this lady, man.
Look, man,
But-
she deal with people with high net worths and
Yeah.
like people who are like law enforcement and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know, they have a lot lot of itemized joints, like uniforms and stuff like that. They used to write off. So she deal with it all. So nothing is too big for her.
Wow, perfect. Definitely, we need that. We need that. And
Man, dealing with real estate, you gotta have these people around you.
yeah, you got to.
Fuck it, you
have.
might as well just tell us. Tell us what you do. Explain
I was gonna dive in. Go ahead.
Okay.
Faha, basically, I mean, like I said, we got two guests in here. I'm gonna start off with my boy Faha. He could basically gonna tell you guys a little bit about himself, man.
Oh man, a little bit about myself.
What you do and you
what
know
I do,
how you started
I
in
do
it
real
and all of
estate.
that.
I started maybe I want to say 4. I'm going on my 4th year into real estate. Basically, well, we know each other from high school. First off, I want to say Chase almost killed me on prom night. he don't even remember. He don't even remember. Yeah, we coming off Fabian. My man almost like.
Wait, is that what I?
You hit that corner.
My man almost lost.
He almost killed me before.
Okay, hey, listen, man, stay on
Look,
the top.
look. I love
You sure you don't want me to drive?
Took us out.
That shit empty right now.
Basically, to get back to my story, I started off in real estate in 2017 into 16.
Okay.
Basically, I was doing a lot of street stuff, so I couldn't really do too much in real estate. You know, when you're in the street, basically, you can't really. I was going to like a lot of events and stuff like that, and you know, the first thing somebody asks you is like, "Yo, what you do?"
What you do?
So you know, street niggas, they be like, "Yo, I do either 2 things: real estate or construction."
Yeah.
So for me, it was just like, at that time, I was telling niggas I did real estate. Wasn't doing real estate. It was basically stuff on the street that was, basically that's what was going on.
Yeah.
So at one point, around 2016 into 2016, all my friends started getting locked up. Like a couple guys we went to school with,
I
like
know.
the feds did a sweep basically.
Yep.
And it was like, yo, my girl had got a nice position. I had to kind of like fall back from the streets a little bit because I couldn't really do too much with her in this new position. So I was just like, yo, I gotta lock in and do something else. And it was just like, what was going to replace the money that I was making in the streets? So I was thinking about it. Like I literally took a year off, read 100 books. I was like, yo, I'm gonna do real estate. Real estate, I couldn't find nothing in construction, so real estate was basically it for me. So I was like, let me learn everything I could learn about real estate, read 100 books, went to 100 seminars, paid for different courses, shit like that. Nothing was like really taking off, and then after a while, I was just like, yo, I'm a hustler. Like, yo, I could do this shit. I just gotta hit the ground running. Like, I done read all the books, I know all the knowledge. I could go around anybody and talk about real estate. Let me start putting my foot to the pavement, basically. Started that. I went to my man's wedding in 2017. Crazy thing is, all of the guys, it was like 8 guys in his what you call that?
Groomsmen.
Oh yeah, he had
His
about
wedding party.
8 groomsmen or whatever. But I'm there from my girl. She knew his wife, so we go to Costa Rica and we around the pool and stuff. They talking about like what they do back home. I'm surrounded by police. They all happen to be cops. One was a CO. Other one, well, 2 of them were COs. One was a sergeant. One was a bunch of them was cops, and there was one. He was a heart surgeon. So they talking about they all own real estate. So I'm like, damn, this shit just keep coming back. Like, I gotta really do this shit now. So we talking about real estate.
Yo,
I'm
his
the only
mic just
one
went
there.
out, I think.
I'm the only one
Echo
there.
keeps going in and out, yeah.
I could hear him.
Okay.
Got me?
Talk, Faha.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you good.
Oh yeah.
Before it went out.
So look, we sitting around, they all talking about like, yo, how many properties they own or whatever, and I'm the only one there who like, I'm the only street nigga basically.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, I'm thinking about getting into real estate, and they was all so cool. They could, you know, like when you doing something illegal or whatever, and everybody else around you got their stuff together, you the only one that they could pick out of a bunch. And it's like, damn, what did he do? But I could hold conversation with them about real estate because I done did so much research on
books,
it.
yeah.
So they fucked with me basically. And they, like 4 days into the trip, they like, yo, when we get back to the States, let's put something together.
Nice.
We got back to the States or whatever. We put the LLC together. That's when we started the SBM Investors. We all put our money together, and it was just like, it was so dope that it was like, I didn't have to go in a room with law enforcement guys and be somebody totally different. Like, they knew my background, like where I came from, and they ain't judged me for that. Like, it was just like, yo, if this what you want to do, we gonna do it the right way. So it forced me to like hit the ground running. So I was able to put some money up with these guys. We created the LLC, business bank account. We all funded the account, no cash. We did certified checks. So we put all our money together. We bought our first property in the hood. It was 9 of us, 9 brothers from North. Everybody just happened to be from
Are you
North,
guys still together though? Or all 9 of you guys still doing the same thing together?
We are.
And you know, it's crazy, not to cut you off, you know the peoples he talking about? Remember who was in Miami was riding bikes?
Yeah.
And a bunch of Jersey jokers that was with us?
Yeah.
Those who he talking about.
Damn.
Yeah.
Small world.
Small world. Yeah.
Because now we're talking about doing the same shit.
Yo, I tell everybody to do it. And the formula is crazy. It's just like, yo, when you get to a certain amount of doors in real estate, properties in real estate, you just stop counting them. You count the doors now. So it's just like the formula that we used for was just like, if not, like, let's say all of us put our money together. Let's say we all came to the table with $5,000. So that's, let's say we all came with 10. It's 5 of us. We got 50 grand. We take that 50, put it in an account, and then we go buy, let's say you personally guarantee it, CeeLo. You personally guarantee the first joint. You get a 4-family. A year later, 12 months later, we refinance you off the loan. You go get another property. You get a 3-family now. Then 12 months after that, you get a 2-family. 12 months after that, we get a 1-family. Now you own 4 properties, but we all together. Then you go next, D-Block. Then you go next, Will. You go next. Then I go next. And we just keep recycling that formula. So then you look up, shit, you got 20 properties.
That's dope. That's dope.
Exactly.
And it's crazy because it's just like, yo, if we keep doing it, every time, everybody think that with FHA, you got to hold your FHA for 30 years before you can pay off the loan, before you can get your FHA
And I'm
first time home buyer's joint back.
Not to cut you off, I'm going to come back to that because I want you to dive into that and explain that because a lot of people, a lot of our listeners that do reach out to us about the real estate and all that don't really know much about the FHA. They usually want to go the conventional loan and you know that requires FHA is the easiest way and it's the best way. But I'm gonna get back to it because I want you to dive more into that and explain more into that. But I'm gonna let John get in here and basically just tell us about yourself, tell us how you get started, tell us more about your business.
That's a great story, by the way, man. Like, glad to see you come up like that. My story's different. You know, I went to college. And from college, I didn't know what I was going to do. So one of my boys was like, oh, he's going to go to dental school. And then I was like, oh, I never thought about even being a dentist or anything like that. And then next thing you know, I applied. I got in. I went to Howard University, the real HU. And then,
HBCU.
Yeah. I went to Howard too.
We got
not the school. No.
Homecoming. But and then from Howard, I ended up finding out, all right, so what's the best way to make more money? They're like, oh, well, if you specialize. So I said, all right, I'm going to specialize. And I went to NYU, specialized in endodontics. And while I was there, like for me, I was always kind of driven by, I liked doing dentistry, but it wasn't like something I was passionate about, right? So, but while I was there, I was like always thinking about, all right, which way I could make money. Then my father, he started making money late in his life. Like, like we're a poor immigrant family. We lived in government housing, project housing, and all of that, and came up. So, but, my father always used to push education. So that was kind of what was a little bit different. But anyway, so, he done all kind of stuff, including, they used to go and clean apartments, the common areas of apartments and lobbies and stuff just to make ends meet. My father delivered pizza. He did all kinds of stuff. Later on in life, he discovered real estate, and he started making money in real estate like in his late 50s, 60s. Then he started pushing me and my brother, like, yo, you guys got to get into real estate. Like, that's the thing. So while I was in Howard, while everybody else studying dental school, I'm reading real estate books like you were doing, I started reading book after book. Next thing you know, after I graduated, it's first thing most people do is they go buy a V or go buy a chain, go buy whatever they, once you got bread. But I went and bought a house, and I was living in the city that time. I couldn't afford anything in the city, but my sister-in-law was going to Seton Hall, like, oh, we're going to go rent a house, and her and her roommates. I'm like, listen, why don't I buy the house, right? And you and your roommates rent it from me. So I went and I raised the capital from investors, similar to what you're doing, and then we put the down payment, got the loan, bought the house. And her and her 3 friends, they went through the MBA program and all that. They graduated, and everybody that, as soon as they moved out, more graduate students from Seton Hall moved in. Since then, I've had that house since 2009. I've never had a vacancy. It's been graduate student after graduate student, just takes it after. I don't even care about that house, So Then after that, I got into a couple more residential properties. But then I'm like, listen, if I really want to scale how much money you can make, like with single family houses, you start to hit a limit. Like, all right, so even with you, like in your example, once you get to 20 houses, right? That's management intensive. Now you got 20 houses spread out everywhere. And each time you add a house, the laborious task of management grows exponentially, right? So property management becomes an issue. So then I started looking at, and then so if you're making say $300 per door, like you say, right, for each house that you have, $300 a house, but you want to build substantial passive income. Like I want to make $30,000 a month of passive income, $50,000 a month of income. To get that, where you're getting $300 or $400 per house per door, to get to 50,000, you need like 100 houses, and that's crazy. So that's why I started going into commercial real estate, bigger ticket items. More money, more cash flow. Then I started investing in bought a parking lot, which I still have. You know, that's a triple net lease. That's great. Like triple net lease means the net. Yeah, whoever.
Triple net.
I need that truck parking lot.
I need that triple net.
See, we got to talk. I need to find me a parking lot where you can rent out trucks. Because I took
Rent trucks?
No, not rent trucks. Where trucks could park. Park. Because I'm gonna let you continue. Because a partner of mine, he drive trucks. And I had took him to, pick up his trailer. He had the delivery, and that man was just talking. And he was like, "Yo, this dude on this trucking lot, he on the other one, and he doing like $220 a truck." And when I pulled up, I'm like, "Hold on."
You counted the trucks.
Just the first few. I'm like,
that market crazy. 700
Yeah.
billion a year.
If you got the demand there, I mean, those parking lots can be cash cows for years. Like I haven't been to that lot in 4 years. I don't even think about that lot. I just get a check every month in the month, and they pay the taxes. So triple net means there's 3 nets, right? There's taxes, that's 1 net. There's insurance, that's 1 net, and the third is common area maintenance. So that parking lot, when it snows, you gotta have guys that go do the snow removal. You gotta put salt when it's ice. You gotta make sure that every 2 years you gotta stripe the lot again because the yellow lines, they wear out and all that stuff. But that's all done by someone else. And that tenant that's renting that lot from me, they're paying the taxes, they're paying the insurance, they're paying everything. And all I got to do is just collect the check.
Right.
Like that's the best I could do. So I could go home to sleep and I'm getting that net operating income check every month. Right? So that was the parking lot. Then from there I got into a small strip mall. Again, I'm raising capital from other people. So So there's 2 ways. I mean, there's 2 types in a capital stack, they call it. So when you're trying to buy a building, there's $1 million building right there. We need to put 25% down. So $250,000, a quarter of that is equity, right? The other 75%, you're going to borrow from the bank. That's debt.
yeah.
But that 25%, that equity, it doesn't matter where it comes from. It could come from me or it could come from other people, right? So what I started getting into was raising capital for great deals. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of the deals that I do, I mean, I used to put my own capital into a lot of deals, but then I started not putting any of my own capital into deals and buying properties. So then from there, we went. I got into another like mixed use building, had another warehouse with industrial land. Again, it was a trucking company that he just wanted to park his trucks. He didn't care what it was. He's like, I don't care what the rent is. I just need. I need that space, and I just need to park my trucks and park my heavy machinery there. I just need an industrial area that I can dump this shit, right? And so he took a 10-year lease.
Nice.
So that's 10 years. I'm not even worried. I'm not even think about that again. You know what I'm saying? That warehouse. So from there though, I really started focusing the last few years in apartment buildings, multifamily real estate. I found that multifamily real estate is the best investment on the planet.
Absolutely.
You know, so apartment buildings you're in the business of providing a basic human need, which is shelter, human shelter. That never goes out of business. That never goes out of need. People always need a place to live. You know what I'm saying?
Like, for me, it was like, what can I do that was gonna replace the money that I was making in the street? But I didn't want like another T-shirt business. I didn't want a barbershop. That's all like hood niggas do. Like that's all everybody who get a couple dollars, like I'm gonna go get a barbershop, I'm gonna get a beauty supply, I'm gonna get a beauty shop, I'm gonna get
You out
Teak.
here frauding that young guy.
Right.
But
I think we all got
Yeah. Well, they know you drinking. But I didn't want something that was gonna be a quick hit, like 2-year run. So at first I invested in like 2 restaurants. Restaurant was okay. The restaurant business is okay, but it's just like it's not a need if it's not like a franchise.
yeah.
I had a spot on Clinton Avenue, and we was trying to do another spot downtown North, which is an upcoming market. But the restaurant business is so fickle because if you put a face to the business, it's just like, people gonna fuck with it for the first 3 months maybe.
And then that's that.
After 3 months, it's just like, we on a downward climb. So it was just like, it wasn't smart. So then found the trucking business, got into the trucking business. My partner bought a rig, and that's still running.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, what can I do that was going to keep going up?
Yeah.
Got into the stock market. Then it was just like, okay, learn the stock market. And it's just like, damn, these gains is all right. Like, let me dump some more money. Because at first I was just doing like $100 here, $500 here. I think the most I ever did at first was like $1,000. Lost it all on Tesla. I pulled some money out. Then I'm just like, I met this Korean guy, this guy named Jin. And he was telling me like, look, I don't have a bank account. Like, we would just have like different conversations or whatever. He was like, I don't have a bank account. I put all of my money into the stock market.
Yeah.
Everything. Like, just imagine somebody telling you, and you already in your head, you like, oh, I only put $1,000 in it. And this dude telling you he don't have a bank account. Like, he dumped all his money in the stock. He dumped everything into the market. So then I started taking it more serious. Every month I'm dumping $1,000 in it now.
Yep. And
then it just kept going up, and I'm just like, damn. Now I'm taking my real estate checks and dumping that into the market, just compounding the interest. And I'm like, damn, I ain't really got to work for this money no more. It was simple.
Simple, and that's a lot of things they don't teach us.
Yeah,
And me and you had this conversation all the time when we talk. Like, if we would have learned half of this shit when we was youngsters,
Man, if I would have learned half of this coming out of high school,
we'd be sitting. And
high school, we'd be billionaires.
And also with like you said with the banking, I had a discussion with my wife, and I'm like, yo, instead of most of the money we throwing for our kids, that shit gonna sit in the bank and have what interest on it?
0.03%.
Nothing. I'm like, throw this shit in the market. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, throw it in the market. Let's invest. Let the money work for itself. That's my number one issue. Once I started getting a little bit of money, my money have to work for itself.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
This money cannot sit. You lose value in money with that shit sitting.
Right.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
bank
and
is
I
the
learned
worst
that
place you could do it.
dealing with all
Yeah.
my partners, because it was just like, I was loaded with cash, and they had their money in different avenue and different vehicles, and it was just like, damn, my money worthless when it come to them, because it's just like I can't even go dump all my money into an account. Because it's just like, I can't, everything over $10,000. Now I think it's like $7,500. The bank flagging it.
Like, I know if it's $990, they're questioning it.
Yeah.
This guy called me like, yo, you put 10,000.
I was put 10. I forgot. I admitted. Thank God I made a phone call, and they was like, take a couple off.
Yeah.
Take a couple off.
Yeah.
And even when I did that, it still was like, what you do? What's this, that? We know we have to question. I'm like, man, to break it
they'll
down.
flag you real quick. Anything over $999.
That's crazy.
They on you.
They flagging it. So it's
so
just
let
like,
me-
everything was worthless when it came to that. And it was just like, to be established, it's better to look good on paper than to do it to have a fucking shitload of money.
So
Cash.
my question is to you. What's the better investment so far for you? Stock market or real estate?
It's tough. I got 2 reasons why. Real estate is tangible. So it's just like, if I wanted to, I could go right now. The interest rate is dirt cheap. I could go pull $100,000 out of 2 properties like that.
2.7 interest rate right now, probably going
Lower than that if you got a decent credit score.
Okay.
So you might be at that 2.5. So that's cool. But the stock market, I sit home all day from here. CNBC on the TV, I could send 100,000 from my phone.
Okay.
And so, I mean, it's I don't know. Maybe by the time we finish this,
Can we pass that question here real quick?
Of course. You know, go to John. John, what do you think?
I'll mention to get in on this one, bro. I mentioned it. I mean, listen, right now, the stock market, is in a crazy bull market right now. The returns are crazy right now. But think about the conditions this is happening.
Right.
First of all, Trump had $2 trillion of stimulus. Joe Biden put another $1.8 trillion of business.
Facts.
That money is getting pushed into the stock market, right? While the economy, like the unemployment is growing like crazy. Pandemic is wreaking havoc. Everybody's unemployed. Businesses are closed. Businesses are going to foreclose and be gone forever. Yeah. But yet the stock market is blowing up. So how is it that everybody else is suffering, but the stock market is blowing up? And it's artificially buoyant. Right now, I think the stock market is overvalued. I mean, you look at Tesla, it's gone up 800% last year. But then you look at Tesla, and they say Tesla's now valued more than Ford, GM, and all these American car companies combined. But the revenue is only 1/3 of that. Right. So how are you getting this crazy valuation? You know, so I think the stock market is due for a correction. And right now, everybody is getting greedy and trying to put money in. Warren Buffett says, when others get greedy, that's when I get fearful. So like if you really look, the people now everybody's trying to get in the stock market, but I think the stock market is headed for a big correction. And now the stock market is also very volatile. So it can go up, it can go down, it can go like just last year alone. Yes, you don't know what's going to happen. The stock market is a casino, right? You have no idea. Just because it did well last year doesn't mean it's going to do well this year. You have no idea what's going to happen.
Right there.
Just let me finish. I'm going to talk 1 second here. So now let's look at it from a long-term average point, right? So we can't. If you look at it 1-2 years, like last year,
that's your turn.
I made 50%. Like my 100,000 is now worth 175,000. Stock market, you can't beat that, right? But if you look at it on a long-term average, so over the last 15 years, the S&P 500, you made about 7% per year, compounded annually. Over the last 30 years, it's about 9%, right? So now if you want to compare stocks to apartment buildings, stocks is much more volatile, much higher risk, and lower returns on a risk-adjusted basis. So the other advantages over real estate over stocks, number one, the cash return. You have much higher cash returns with real estate investments. You can get cash with stocks, with dividends and stuff like that, but you're paying high long-term capital gains taxes, whereas usually the cash flow from real estate due to depreciation is tax-free. So whatever cash you're getting from real estate, you put in your pocket. Equity buildup. Both of them, stocks and real estate, by investing it, what you're trying to do is build wealth, right? You can build equity in both if you stay long-term. But the amount of return that you get in stocks to real estate it's not even close, because the equity buildup from stocks, there's inflation at 2% every year. There's fees that these assets under management fees, they take 1% every year. Whether the market goes up, whether your stock market goes down, they're taking that destroys wealth. Then you're paying high capital gains taxes. So once you factor in all of those things, your returns from the stock market are barely keeping up with inflation. So if you're trying to retire off of money that you're investing in the stock market, you're going to be working until you're 75, right? When you're with real estate now, we talked about cash returns, we talked about equity. Now leverage. If you want to buy $1 million worth of stock, you need $1 million. You got to go buy $1 million worth of stock. You want to buy $1 million apartment building, you need to put down 25%. You need to get $250,000. So now you can take $250,000 and control a $1 million property. So that's called leverage. In stocks, you don't have leverage. The other thing, and you actually touched on this, stocks is paper. It's not real. There's nothing there, right? Real estate is a hard, physical, tangible asset. If you're worried about it, you can go. I own a piece of this building. I can go drive by that building and go touch that building. Is it still there? Oh yeah, it's still there, right? Stocks, you have no idea. It's paper, right? So they're like, oh, I'm diversified. I'm in an ETF. I buy with, there's 30 companies in this, so I'm buying a little piece of 30 companies, so my risk is diversified. But I would argue you're not diversified because everything's invested in paper. That's a paper asset. It's not real. The other thing is tax advantages. With real estate, it's one of the most tax-efficient vehicles out there. Most of the profits that you make, cash flows, you can pay no taxes. A lot of the gains you can get, no taxes. It's a tax advantage. You can hide your you can actually, if you're making $50,000, but then you get $8,000 worth of losses from your real estate income, -8, even though you made money, but on paper it's -8,000. So now your taxable income goes from 50,000 to 42,000. So you're only taxed on 42,000. So it actually helps to tax shelter as a tax shelter for your income. So I mean, there's really no comparison when you're comparing on a long-term basis. There's no investment that can give you predictable returns where you know. Like I always tell people, real estate, they'd say it's a get rich slow scheme, but it's a get rich for sure scheme.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So if you are investing and you are consistent and you stay disciplined and you keep investing in it, there's no way that you cannot develop passive income, cash flows for yourself, as well as create wealth that you can pass down to your children, right? Like, so this apartment building syndication, which is what I do, is what rich white families have been doing for 250 years in this country, right? They own buildings on Central Park West, Central Park East, overlooking Central Park. That building's been owned by that family for 250 years. Those kids are born into millions of dollars of passive income. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you pass down generational wealth on top of that. So you get cash flow, you build the wealth, you plant the seed. You may not get to sit under the shade of that tree, but your children are going to sit under the shade of that tree. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm planting the seed so that for my kids, they don't got to do what I got to do, what I did, and what I went through. You know what I'm saying?
Let me hold on before let me switch it. Let me ask this real quick. I don't know, my headphones going in and out. To our listeners that basically want to let's just say to our listeners that want to start want to buy their first property. Like, how do you think they should go about it? Basically, just explain like the FHA loan and how. Let's just say somebody, they got a 640 credit score and they probably got like 5 to 6K put up and they looking to buy a home. Like, what's the necessary steps you could advise them to take?
First step, I would tell them to save some more money. I mean, it sounds crazy, but realistically, because the market is crazy right now.
It's a seller's market right now.
It's a seller's market, absolutely. So you just got to think you spending $50K over what your property is actually worth right now in this market. So a year ago, about a year ago, if that, you may be on a $300,000 house, you may have to come to the table with $12,000, 3.5%. Right now, that $300,000 property might be $450. So you coming to the table with 3.5% of that. That's almost. I tell everybody, if you don't have close to 20,000 saved, liquid, like you could go get it right now, or you could show it right now. You need to keep saving. But even if you don't, it's programs that'll cover like closing costs, but you still have to have your down payment. People mix up having down payment and closing costs. You still have to be a little liquid. So if you got a 640 credit score, you can get approved for a mortgage through FHA. But now you have to be able to afford to close on that property. So you need your 3.5% down payment, and you need closing costs. There are programs out there that you can apply for like grants and stuff like that through certain municipalities. They have like $10,000 they'll give you towards closing costs. But when that money dries up in the municipality and they don't have no more, you stuck. So you can get to the closing table, or you can get
a gift.
You can actually get a gift from a parent, a cousin.
Explain what GIF is, because a lot of people will know what GIF is.
Most savvy realtors will have a gift letter formatted. So basically what a gift is, let's say I had a rich father or a rich parent or a rich grandfather who wanted to give me 20 grand for my first house. I can't take that 20 grand once I start the process of buying a house, because I have to show all of the income that's in and out of my bank account. So what I can do is I can have my father give me 20 grand gift letter. My realtor will fill out the gift, or have the template already. He'll send it to me, send it to my father. My father will fill it out, and they'll ask for 30 days of his bank statements. They'll see that he had that 20 grand to the side in the savings account for me, and then he'll be able to give that to me. Now I can take that gift letter and show that to the mortgage underwriters, and they'll see like, oh, okay, you got 20 grand coming from your father. But okay, let's say I make $3,000 a month. Let's just keep the numbers low for people who's getting started, who think that they can't afford to buy a house. You have you making $3,000 a month, so they already approved you for a house. Maybe you get approved for $350. Your mortgage is going to be maybe around
20 something.
Yeah, about 23. No, probably about 25. Yeah, depending on where you. Let's say, look, all my properties are in Newark and East Essex County. So let's say you're in Newark. Your mortgage is, let's say, $2,500. Now you get approved for that, but okay, you got to come to the table with $17,000, and you have to have, if you're buying anything for a 3 or 4 family, you have to show 3 to 4 months of reserves. So basically, what reserves are is they want to know that you can cover that mortgage for 3 months. Yeah. So if your mortgage is $3,000, you have to have $9,000 in that account separate. But you don't have to spend that money. They just want to see it. So if you have a 401k, if you have the gift letter, you can have. You could just, if you have 401k, your stocks. If you already own a property, they want to see. Okay, this money is for that. These are your reserves. So basically, if you starting out, like it's a bunch of ways to get started. You just have to have that money, because you also have to have money for your property inspection, your appraisal. Yeah, if you're buying through FHA, you got to have PMI money. So you have to, insurance, you have to pay for the year if you're going through FHA.
I was about to ask you that.
Yeah, you pay, like if you're doing a conventional mortgage, you can pay monthly for your insurance. But FHA, they want you to pay for that first year up front. So that's anywhere from $1,800 to $2,500 just for your PMI.
So for somebody,
for your insurance.
For somebody, let's just say somebody got $640, and they get approved for, what you want to say, a $300,000 house, something like that. Are they supposed, or should they put down, 10 or 15% so they can avoid the PMI? Or
you can buy the points, but that's if you have the liquid cash.
Right.
If you don't have that liquid cash, let's say you only have.
But to avoid the PMI, you got to put down at least 20%.
Yeah, at least 20%.
Okay, right.
If you got that, but that PMI is really expensive. Like expensive. With FHAs, especially, like even if you get to 20%, they still want you to hold that PMI for 5 years.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to pay it, and it's like.
Because it's the insurance for the mortgage for somebody.
It's a mortgage insurance, but even if you refinance and like say, all right, it's a property appreciated in value like crazy, and now you refinance it, and you're like, well, now I have more than 80% value here, but I still can't remove the PMI. So like, there's disadvantages to the FHA loan. Like I've done the FHA loan also. It's great because you got to put a low amount down, but it's a lot more meticulous with the criteria, and there are a lot more sticky points to get the actual loan. And if you're getting the PMI, to your point, then it becomes much more expensive.
Right.
You know, I mean, to me, if you can get into a conventional loan, you're probably going to be better off than going into FHA. FHA is great.
Let me ask you this, John, before you continue. Now, like you just named with everything. Now, is it best how do you feel about after a year refinancing the home to turn from an
FHA to a conventional? I mean, if that's a possibility, then you can do that. You know, I mean, and the faster you can get into a conventional loan, probably the better it is. You know,
and before, to let people know out there, I'm also clear that up. If that is an idea, make sure you pay that mortgage on time for that whole year.
No, you have to.
Yeah, if you don't make that payment, forget about refinance. For 5 years, that ain't coming off.
So refinancing nothing.
Make sure that payment
but that's why you
on time.
want to have a property that you can afford. Like most mortgage lenders, they'll approve you, but it's like they'll approve you for a house that on paper you can afford, but most people on paper don't bring that money home.
Right,
exactly.
So you got to make sure that you going into it. Like if they approve you for $350, you don't want to max out that budget.
Right.
Get something
you want
for
to
$200
find something for $285, $290, or you want to be at $300.
Yeah.
Just because they give you $350 don't mean you got to spend it.
And the other thing,
most people will.
The other thing, I mean, people think that if I want to be a real estate investor, I got to go and buy my own place.
Right.
Honestly, buying your own house is probably the worst investment you can get.
100%.
Like America's becoming a renter nation and stuff, but even for me, I mean, he's been to my house. You know, I got a 8-bedroom, 10 bathroom house with an indoor pool.
We seen the videos. He was lifting weights and he walked to the pool.
I left New York to come to Tony Soprano living in Jersey. Man.
Best decision, I'm telling you.
But But don't think that, and this is what most books and like you see it on HGTV and all that is like, go buy your own house and this and that. I could disagree. Like now, knowing what I know now, I would not tell anybody to go buy your own house.
100%.
So you would have never bought that house?
I would rather rent a mansion.
I'm
You know what
a
I'm saying?
renter.
I would rent a mansion.
I'm a renter.
Okay.
And because renting is actually cheaper in the long run. Because if you're buying the house as an investment and now you're putting down that 25%, right? If you live in a $2 million house and you're putting down 25%, that's $500,000.
Right.
But right, like that $500,000, if I can invest that in multifamily real estate, that $500,000 and get 15 to 22% per year, I'm going to double my money
Right.
in 4 to 5 years. So that $500,000 is going to be worth $1 million. And then in 8 to 10 years, that $1 million is going to be worth $2 million. In another 12 to 15 years, that's going to be worth $4 million.
There you
You know what
go.
I'm saying? If that house is my house is going to be worth go from $2 million to $6 million,
You have to be in a market like
then
this.
it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
But my house is not going to go from $2 million to $6 million. You know what I'm saying? It might go to $2.5 million, and then I might pay off some of my mortgage, and I might make $1 million. So that money, there's an opportunity cost to that money. And so what you should really start looking at is you're like, I don't really want to own my own house. Is one, I mean, what he did is actually really smart because he lives in a multifamily, right? And he lives in one unit and he rents the other spaces.
Rent
If
out
you
the
really
other
want to lend your own space, I would highly recommend to the people beginning is to get into a multifamily residence where you can have other tenants
pay your rent.
to help you pay that mortgage, right? So that now you're not dependent on one income. Like that's why even for a single family house, it's like I own a single family house, but now the renter moves out. Now you have 100% vacancy. You got zero money coming in from that place.
Yep.
An apartment building, for example, I got 25 tenants and one moves out. I'm still 96% occupied. 2 people leave out. I'm 92% occupied. 3 people leave out. I'm still 88% occupied.
That's a fact.
I'm still my break even point is 78%. I could have 5 units empty and I'm still making money.
John, could
Yeah.
you dive more into that and basically just tell people how, if people want to dive into that field, investing into the apartments and how you get started, and just give us a little education.
Yeah,
little
I tend to say
info on
apartment
that.
syndication is kind of hard to get into.
But but real quick, like we talking about this January. We talking about, let's just say somebody got a $10,000 income tax return, and they want to get into.
And you want to park in some real estate.
Right,
Yeah.
pretty much.
So this has been one of the problems. Like this is why what apartment syndication means, right? The word actually means, it means buying is individual investors pooling capital to buy a building that individually they couldn't get themselves, right? So if we want to go buy a $10 million apartment building, and we need to raise $2.5 million for the down payment. That $2.5 million is a lot of money that most individuals won't have in their bank account. But now, if you can pool the capital from other people,
Let's say 2.5 million. We
Yeah.
got to raise 200,000.
200,000.
Our
Okay,
listeners
fair
ain't that
enough.
large.
Okay.
Let's lock it down a little bit.
Fair enough.
We got 5,000 right now. Let's say you got to raise 200.
200,000.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so look, the numbers essentially.
The numbers
Whether
are
the
easy.
scale,
Yeah,
it's going to be the
it's
same.
easy.
So,
Yeah, the
all right,
numbers
so
are easy.
let's use a smaller example, okay? And this is to your point. Like, if you have 10,000, but you don't want to become a landlord,
Right.
You don't want to be the one that's changing. There's tenants calling, or there's the window's broken, or the heat's off.
Yeah.
You don't want to be making those calls. You're doing your own. You have your own life. You have your own family. You have your own 9-to-5 job. You want to invest that money passively. So now what I'm saying is to become a passive investor and think about real estate passively, and to invest it into somebody or a sponsor, which is what we call it in the apartment world, a sponsor that has a track record, somebody that's flipped 50 houses, that's done it over the last 10 years, and you're like, you know what? I like what you're doing. Like, I want to be part of that, right? So I trust you with the cap. I would rather invest the capital with you, and I know that this is what I'm probably gonna get 22% per year. So on 10,000, I'm gonna make $2,200 on my thing, and they're like, you're gonna get your money back in 4 to 5 years. So that means that $10,000 making $2,200 a year. If you get your money back in 4 years, you're getting $8,800 plus
On
your
top of you.
10,000, right? So you've made 88% in 4 years.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how you can invest passively. And I think that passively is the best way to go. Like, even for me, like an apartment syndicator, we bought a building in East Orange for on 38 South Walnut, 5 minutes from the train station, East Orange train station. Like our criteria, it has to be 10 minutes or less walk-in distance from the train station. We bought that building. It was 25 unit. It was a 25 unit building. We bought it for $2.6 million. It was we put in $300,000 worth of renovations, another $300,000 for closing costs. We were all in about 3.1. And after repair value, after we've renovated all the units, we've cleaned up the lobby, we've cleaned up the exterior, we kicked out the problem tenants, put cameras everywhere, put lights everywhere, put good property management into place. Now the building's worth $5.3 million. So we went from 5.3 to 3.1. We created $2.1 million of equity, and we control that. It doesn't matter what happens in the market, what happens in the stock market. It matters that we took units that were mismanaged, you're getting $600 a month for a 1-bedroom in here. You got the wave?
My shit finished.
So if you take an apartment, it's mismanaged, it looks like shit, hasn't been renovated in 10 years, and you're only getting $600 a month, but you know that in East Orange you can get $900 to $1,000 per month for a 1-bedroom, and you can get $1,300 to $1,500 for a 2-bedroom. But these guys are paying $600 and $900. But now we go in and we make the renovations, we make it, and we just start charging market rent. People are going to pay the rent. We don't care what's happening in the economy at large. We don't care if the whole jobs are being lost. All we care is that we're in a good market, an emerging market, we call it, where jobs are growing, vacancies are decreasing, unemployment is decreasing. We go into great markets. East Orange was a market that's gentrifying like crazy. East Orange went from a very blighted urban decay area to now revitalization happening, which has happened in Newark and it happened in South Bronx and happened in all areas around New York City. And this is just an extension over the train line. So we saw East Orange, we're in Harrison, we're in Belleville, we're in Irvington. And these are areas that we see. So these are emerging markets. Second, you should partner with so you want to get into a great market. So you're like, all right, so this is a great place to invest my money. Then you partner with somebody that has a good track record. If you like flipping houses, I'm not into flipping houses. I think flipping houses is a risky business.
Very
but
risky.
There's money to be in, and you would know, and there's holding costs involved. I'm a buy and hold guy. But if you're a guy that wants quick returns, all right, or you want to get invested in multifamily or whatever it is, you team up with a good sponsor, somebody that has a track record, like the company that I'm vice president of a real estate company in business relations. Called Proud Living. They own and manage 1,800 units. They have 600 units in East Orange. They have 400 units in Irvington and 250 units in Belleville. Now, and they've been doing this for 4 years, and they've bought 50 apartment buildings over the last 5 years. And this is just rinse and repeat, this next building. There's very low risk involved. Whereas if I'm going to try and execute that deal myself, the risk level goes way up. Costs go way up, right? So if you and then you invest in a good property where you're buying it below market value, that you know that once you've made the renovations, the value's going to be there, and you can go to refinance, like my man here was saying, we're going to refinance it at the new improved value, and you make money, right? So those are the three main things you look at: the market, the sponsor, and then finally you look at the property itself, the asset itself. If you can park your money in good places like that, you won't go wrong.
Okay.
You won't go wrong because you've mitigated the risk as much as you can. You've taken away as much of the risk that's in there as you've tried to reduce the amount of risk as much as possible by making the right decisions. All right, these are the check boxes that I'm looking for in the economy, in the market. These are the check boxes of the track record. This guy has to be in business for at least 5 years. He's had to have flipped at least 20 houses. He's had to have had, X, Y, and Z. And these, only if you can check off all these check boxes, then they can have the right to have my hard-earned investment dollars. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Like
sir.
that's the way I approach it. And that's why investors invest with me. Because if I say a deal is a go, that means that deal is like. These guys don't got to worry about it. These guys are out making money, doing their own business, doing whatever they're successfully doing, that they want to invest that capital and they don't want to worry about it. They just want to know that they're going to get it back and they're going to get it back with extra bread on top. Otherwise we're not doing it. So that, and I've proven that. I've proven that I can do that. And
What's
that's
the most your investors kind of make, like average?
I mean, like, for example, this last deal, the 25-family building that we're doing, with 2019 was the investment. I raised $500,000 for that building. I own 10% of that $5.3 million building, which I put zero of my own capital in, right? And now my investors, they put a total of $500,000. There's 4 guys. All 4 guys, and there was 3 guys that put up $500,000. They're all my guys from Howard. One guy's from PDI. He's a pediatric dentist in D.C. Another guy's endodontist, and another guy's in Alexandria, Virginia. They put up the bread. That $500,000 between the 3 of them, they're going to get their proportionate share on how much they put down. So now that $500,000 is going to be $720,000 in 2 years.
So 500,000
To
turns.
720. So they get back
2
their
years.
principal plus $220,000 worth of return. You know what I'm saying? So like
That's money working while you sleep.
Yeah.
that's literally
That's
while you
money
sleep,
while you sleep.
right? That's why you
That's
sleep,
best. That's
and
the
that's what you should
That's the
really
goal.
try to build is build passive income. Because if you're trying to buy your own houses and renovate them yourselves, then you're in the business
Yeah,
of
yeah.
real
Business,
estate.
yeah.
Pretty
Now
much.
you're in the business. You're working in the business. You're a landlord in the business.
Right.
And so if you're trying to do a 9 to 5 and trying to do this other job and you're just adding more to your plate, whereas me, I'm trying to reduce the shit on my plate.
Yeah.
I'm trying to spend more time doing whatever the hell I want to do. I want to earn the income, and I want to know that the best of the best is handling that income. That top tier in that is a real estate company with full-time dedicated staff, and that's all that they do, and that's where I want my money invested. And I know that that's where I'm more likely to get my money back, get my returns. And you know you're gonna get, this is how much you're gonna probably make. You're gonna make between 13 to 18% because our rents are gonna go to this. This is what the markets showed. This is what market rents are. We're gonna make the renovations. The rents are gonna be this. The expenses are gonna be this. This is how much cash flow you're gonna get per year. And it's very predictable. It's reliable. This is the way you build wealth.
Right.
Right? So stock market, you don't know that. Oh, we made 43% this year. Oh, but we did 3 months of pandemic shutdowns, and we are going to do no more stimulus package. So, and the eviction moratorium is over. So everybody that hasn't been paying rent, now landlords can kick them out. There's going to be, I predict coming up in the very short future, there's going to be mass foreclosures, there's going to be mass bankruptcies. There's 24,000 restaurants and bars in New York and over 15 to 16,000 of them are closed, most of them permanently. And I think there's going to be a great opportunity. There's going to be a lot of discounted real estate out there, and there's going to be fortunes to be made in the very upcoming future. Especially in
When
real
there's blood
estate.
in the water, the sharks eat.
There's blood in the streets. That's when you buy. That's when you buy real estate.
That's a
Blood in
fact.
the streets, you
So
buy
how
real
can
estate.
both of you guys? How can people reach out to y'all if they want, just some type of knowledge, like y'all social media, just a little DM, whatever, just give y'all social media. out.
Faha Dean.
Spell it for them, man. People.
Oh, man.
Motherfucker right now.
FAHADEAN on all, what is it, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Okay.
Clubhouse. Yeah, I just joined Clubhouse. We
Hey,
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Check us out.
Clubhouse, yeah.
Oh yeah, y'all gotta hold on. Y'all gotta jump on Clubhouse because I was discussing with all 3 of us was up there earlier. We basically gonna jump on there sometime this week and probably have this conversation continue.
Sure,
So
yeah, I'm with it.
all our
I'll be on.
listeners, our followers, this episode gonna drop Tuesday. So all of you guys that's listening to our own Clubhouse, I'm gonna be you can DM our Instagram page or our personal page, and we basically gonna jump on there and have more discussion with these gentlemen if y'all want to learn more. And
Try to do it Wednesday or Thursday. Right? Like you said,
okay, yeah,
sure.
Wednesday, Thursday. Just learn more, and I'm gonna let John give out his Instagram
Sure.
or Twitter, whatever information you want to give out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the process of actually building the website right now. We got a website coming. We actually got a multifamily real estate podcast coming as well. We just stay tuned. Right now, the best way to reach me is on the Instagram. It's the Multifamily Monster, and yeah, reach out to me there anytime.
That's
DM me.
Multi-family what?
The multi.
Oh, the.
I think it's the multi. Hold on. Let me check right now.
Wait, it's on your head.
I can't read it.
Again, the multifamily.
It's
monster.
the multifamily monster.
Exactly.
And it's on Instagram. Reach out to me, DM me. I'm always down. I'm always down to talk real estate. I love talking millions. Yeah,
You might need some long money, but he's saying.
Yeah.
You might need 50K to just
real
get in the
quick,
He can
conference.
also walk you through, if you want to
got
take
8 more
proper
minutes,
steps with housing. Like you said, both gentlemen are here to help you, and like I say, Faha deal with the houses, John deals with the buildings, the apartments, and all that. But both gentlemen are open to answer any
Absolutely,
questions
always.
and walk you
Yeah,
through
always,
because they
always,
both
always.
have knowledge and in all aspects and all fields of this real estate. that that we're trying to put out there. So don't be afraid to reach out to us.
Yep.
If you don't understand it, we'll direct you to their page and how to contact them. And basically when we get the feedback, if y'all want more of this, we're open to welcome them back. For more. It's a lot more we really want to touch and jump into. So go ahead, check it out.
Oh no, I just want to fire real quick. We got just 2 minutes for somebody that's trying to get into stocks real quick. I know I got Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, but somebody that's trying to get into it real quick and they want to know what stock they should pick, how should they go about it?
What's up?
I'm not a financial advisor. So
You definitely got to
so
put that
wait,
in.
Make
wait.
that disclaimer. Make that disclaimer.
That's what everybody do.
Always my disclaimer.
Don't come to me
Red
with
Cup-
that stuff.
This Red Cup podcast will have mad medication, bro.
But this I know what you're trying to say, but this is why this is why I lead with that because
Definitely,
everybody's threshold isn't like mine.
Right,
Like,
right.
if I
always
lose
say that
50 grand in the market tomorrow, like I'm gonna be good.
Right.
I'm gonna stay in the house, eat peanut butter and jelly for the next 3 months till I get back right. You might not have that same tolerance. You lose 5,000 in the
Jumping off
market.
the bridge.
Yeah, you might jump off a building.
I'm driving to somebody.
So I mean, I never want to tell nobody what
To that
stock.
point, real quick though, if you lose $5,000, but that's when you don't jump out because most investors jump off that time, and they say the stock market is
Buy when it's low.
a great medium for transferring wealth from the impatient
Right,
to the patient.
Yep.
So when such shit drops to Tesla, Amazon actually dropped to damn near zero at one point. But if you would have stayed on, then that shit would have been history for you
that's why
and your
I tell-
family and your kids' kids.
That's
You
exactly
know
why
what I'm saying?
when I used to just post stock stuff on my Instagram stories, but then it was just like people weren't doing the same research that I was doing. Like I'm in front of the TV from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. watching the market.
Okay.
So for me, I got Tesla at 178. So if I'm telling you right now, buy Tesla, you buying it at 840.
Yeah, 800 something.
840.
More,
So,
higher, higher.
What,
So-
Amazon like 1,300, 1,400?
but look, no, Amazon
it's 3K.
is 3,300.
Yeah,
Bitcoin 34,000 right now. Ethereum's at
Oh
1,200.
no, I can't mess
You know
with
what?
it. But look, but that's what I'm saying. Like
I got a couple
I never want to
Bitcoin, I
tell
ain't gonna
people
lie.
which stocks to buy.
Yeah.
All I can tell you is like buy great businesses that you see going to be here for the next 10 years, and you want to get in at a decent price. So you want to watch those charts to know, like, all right, let's just say Walmart, a company that everybody uses, or Target. 9 months ago, Target was $70. Right now, it's $198. So if you buy Target right now, it's upside to it, but it might go up to $215.
I always
So
say,
your threshold, just jumping into the market right now, if you're a new person, like I always tell everybody, like for me, from coming from the street, like I wanted to learn everything that I wanted to follow. I followed the money basically. People made money in real estate. I want to learn that. People make money in the stock market. I want to learn that. You want to jump in and you're just like, yo, how can I flip $1,000 real quick? The market don't work like that.
I mean,
You'll
for me,
go
if I were you, I wouldn't go into individual stocks, right? I would go into a good NASDAQ fund. Like NASDAQ means, I don't know, we're technology and computer shit, right? That's only gonna have upside. NASDAQ, even though NASDAQ had a crazy run this year, was up 43%. I still see NASDAQ doing well again this year because during pandemics, when there's shutdowns, anything internet related, Peloton, Amazon, Netflix, all of these, Zoom, all of this shit, all the shit that's on the computer where people don't have nothing to do except being at home and being going through the computer, all that shit is going to flourish still. So if you want to pick something, take a NASDAQ, just take an index fund, right? And you just buy a slice of all of the top 500 stock market companies. So the top 500 NASDAQ companies, so NASDAQ 500, you put $10,000 and you basically bought a small piece of the top 500 companies in the NASDAQ.
And John,
And that's it. And that way you
But
are now
that's if you have $10,000.
if you have $1,000.
1,000.
And that's the difference between the stock market and real estate. Like with real estate, you usually need more money to get in. With at least the stock market, there's a
buy-in,
way for their buy-ins can be
medium
$500,
Yeah.
right? Like you could get in for cheaper. So that's one of the things, and then and also the liquidity. Stocks you can get in and out faster, right? Like you could be like, oh, I put in 500 and now it's 1,200. I just want to take it out because I need the bread, right? I just made some bread, so I'm gonna take out the bread.
a fact.
You can do that with real estate. It's more of a
It's a long term.
3-5 year hold or 7-year hold. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's why for me, even with I take investors, if it's guys that are investing, it's because they have high net worth. It's not because this is all the money they have in the bank, and it's like I depend on this for emergency, but I'm still gonna invest this in a real estate deal.
Yeah, real
And
estate.
then now we had
with that
an emergency
money,
in our family, and we need the money
you.
back.
Yeah.
That money is locked in, right? Like,
with apartment investing, is like the people that you syndicating these deals with, they need you to park their money.
That's what
Because it's just like it goes back to what you said.
Capital
It's
agent.
like, look, I can't keep my money in the bank and then make 0.01%. So you dealing with people who have $20 million in the bank. Like, in the bank, it's not making them no money. But if I park it with you, it's just like, okay, I can make 18% every year.
And you know how much money
that
that there is available? Because right now, you know, the IRA market, there's $28 trillion in the IRA market.
Facts.
And the U.S. bond market, there's over $2 trillion in the U.S. bond market, and they're paying 0% interest, and there's $2 trillion parked in there. So now if you go approach them with a deal and be like, look, I flip houses. I've been doing it I've been returning 20 to 25% to all my investors for all these years, and you're at 0% in the bond market, and you tell even 10% of those people that, you know what, if you park it in real estate, you'll make way more money than just leaving it in the fucking bond market where you're making nothing. That's $100 billion.
Yeah.
How much real estate can you buy with $100 billion? If it's 25%, you can go buy $400 billion worth of real estate.
They have $1 trillion portfolio.
You know what I'm saying? So there's unlimited capital out there, right? So like that's where I started to think about this. Like if you think about capital, and we're in the most capitalistic country in the world, where still the best, in my belief, it's still the best place in the world to do business. America, United States of America. And no matter how much people shit on and all that, if you have a dollar and a dream, right, in this capitalist market, this is the place to make money.
That's a fact.
And there's limitless money out there. If you don't have that money, doesn't mean that if you have a good deal that you can't fund it. You can't go get that money from somewhere else because the cash is out there and it's limitless. It's unlimited.
Look, y'all might have to put this motherfucking show on repeat. Y'all might have to watch this about
Oh wait!
Swallow
To really
swallow
answer
up.
CeeLo question.
Pause and swallow shit.
Whoa.
There's a lot to swallow up. Pause, man. Pause.
Hold on, we got the headphones on, but we out of here.
Okay.
We out of here, but look, we will be back with more of this. Listen
Extended
to.
could be on Clubhouse, like you said.
Yeah, we're gonna be club. But I'm gonna end this with this little statement right here. Gaining money is an action, maintaining money is a behavior, multiplying money is knowledge. So let's get it, man. CNB Red Cup Talk, man.
Big
we out of
facts,
here. We'll
big
be back
facts.
with more. We'll be back more with these gentlemen. We need a part 2 of this, man.
2021,
Alright,
let's level up.
2021.
We outside. We
You said
outside,
2020?
bro.
I said
Yo, make sure
2021.
y'all watch this again and again and again and again. A lot of valuable information.
I thought you said 2020.